My name is Fiona. I'm a mechanical engineer. Hii ndio story ya my struggle. Campo life was never easy, but ilibidi nimevumilia. Hustle yangu ilikuwa beadworks. Early mornings na late nights zilikuwa kama ibada so that I could at least sort out my expenses. Education was the key to my dreams, so I had to make sure singemess na masomo yangu. That's why nilichukua initiative to apply for a HELB loan. Waliniokolea sana and I was able to sort my school fees na costs za sustenance. Sasa niko dream job yangu and I pay back my loan at the end of every month in order to keep the dream alive for another Kenyan. That's how it goes. The hustle continues.
Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.
Mzima
Wanjoma Dongo Mirwa Koreko Bunda,
ile show kubwa East Africa.
Top Mashariki, just ring the alarm. I miss ring it like so.
Top Mashariki.
Uzuri wangu bei gani, haupati kiutani. Uzuri wangu nyumbani, ananipa burudani.
Unaongea ni kama bibi yako ni Samantha.
Wewe kama mimi.
Wewe
hii ni koti. Ile kitu unajaribu kuongea hapa utaheshimu hii koti.
Sasa mimi nimefanya.
Nyamaza nikiongea.
So,
nimesema nyamaza.
Acha kuniongelesha.
Nyamaza. Sehemu ngapi umeenda kufanya?
Mingi sana.
Kama
mingi,
wapi
kama,
na wapi?
Mingi. Kama USA.
Utiru South wewe.
United States of Alego.
Wewe uliza swali tai inahusiana na
sasa sasa inwe. Simtirira kutie.
Kumbe kwa Yesu ni raha. Tumekuja kupare kwa Yesu. Ulizia uambiwe mambo za shetani yakudaiwe. Nasikia kuzitoka. Baba nichukue, nifunze, nataka kusoma kwa shule yako. Nichukue, nifunze, nataka kusoma kwa shule yako. Basi cheza de, dance de, ukiweka de kama Daude. Tunalala amka, Yesu anapepea. Tunalala amka, zidi kutumbea. Don't you see the way I get down?
No man, mother.
When I'm singing praise to my God, oh.
Time for some good moments and Big Mind Show. We are one, together in spirit. It's fun to worship. Mwaka huu umekwisha, tunaenda klaza. Samia, ndiye Samia.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Well, a very good evening to you. Welcome. This is Channel 1 Weekend, the Friday edition. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Rose Gakuo, and our sign language interpreter is Lucy Moura. Time now to bring you up to speed on the latest happenings. Of course, it's been a very busy week within the political arena and, of course, beyond our borders. All these will certainly be bringing right to your screens. Being a Friday edition, that can only mean one thing. We have our weekly entertainment segment, Star Guess. So, just as the segment suggests, can you guess who our star will be tonight? If I say the Kasangas, I bet everybody who was born in the 90s definitely recognizes the gospel music that the duo presented through the airwaves. And of course, this is a well-fitted duo. And of course, we'll be having that interview right here on Channel 1 Weekend. So much lined up for you. Kindly do interact with us on all social media platforms. On Twitter, it's at KBC Channel 1. Tweet me directly at Rose_Gakuo. While on Facebook, it's KBC Channel 1. You can also text us to begin with where you are viewing us from on 22162. It's right on your screens. Plenty lined up for you, but first, we take a look at the day's highlights. I am innocent. Embattled Public Service and Youth Affairs PS Lilian Omolo denies loss of 9 billion shillings at NYS.
Any trader or business person who sold maize to NCPB and lied that they are farmers, they must be brought to book.
Show no mercy. Deputy President William Ruto reads a riot act to graft kingpins. All-inclusive learning. Marshall plan to establish education facilities for persons with disabilities launched.
We will not encourage films that corrupt the moral values of our children.
And there I am trying to woo international filmmakers to come and spend millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in Kenya. And the first question they ask me is the licensing situation in Kenya.
And simmering film licensing row. Kenya Film Classification Board and Kenya Film Commission clash over regulation of industry. Well, of course, those are just some of the stories that we'll be highlighting tonight, and so much more lined up for you. Remember, tonight on our weekly entertainment segment, this is Star Guess, we also have Japheth Kasanga. Of course, we have known them as the duo, but tonight we interview Japheth Kasanga. So what exactly or which song would you like him to perform? Text us. I'll certainly tell him to perform that one for you. Well, let's begin now. Public Service and Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Lilian Omolo has denied that 9 billion shillings has been embezzled at the National Youth Service. Omolo claims it would be impossible for the government-run youth training institution to be operational with such a colossal amount misappropriated. Omolo further maintains her decision to step aside as investigations continue is in good faith and in no way means she's guilty. Edward Kabasa reports.
Public Service and Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Lilian Omolo, National Youth Service Director General Richard Nubai, and Planning Principal Secretary Julius Muya on Friday appeared before the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee to explain the alleged 9 billion shillings procurement scandal at the National Youth Service.
Madam PS, as you address this matter, be specific, because I can see you are treating us with a lot of generalities. We ask a direct question, you go to Gilgil.
The DCI is investigating the alleged loss of the money to ascertain whether there was an offense of conspiracy among the suppliers, officials at NYS and the ministry to pilfer public resources.
In what was clearly a tense meeting, Omolo, who alongside Dubai stepped aside exactly a week ago to pave way for investigations, bravely fielded questions exonerating herself from blame.
As to whether 9 billion shillings has been lost, Madam Vice Chairperson, it is not possible.
To support her claims, Omolo tabled before PAC a report from the Auditor General released this month.
The Auditor General further states, in addition, as required by Article 229 of the Constitution, based on the audit procedures performed, I confirm that nothing has come to my attention to cause me to believe that public money has not been applied lawfully and in an effective manner.
Maintaining that she had a positive impact since assuming office, the embattled Principal Secretary instead passed the buck to the previous NYS administration led by former Devolution Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru.
Now, I would go to the supplier, Giwako, who is the one of 60 million, for example. Do we know the supplier? No. But was she paid money from the system? Yes. I have been able to certify that money was paid to her.
Omolo claims during her tenure, the NYS has been on an upward trajectory and cartels have been denied access to billions of shillings previously siphoned through dubious contracts and are now fighting back.
I would like the committee to note is that when you take business from her, because you have given to someone where you are saving a lot of money, you want to ask yourself, where was that saving going? And is the person who has now missed that saving, are they excited about it?
Immediate former Devolution Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki, now in charge of the health docket, and our public service counterpart Professor Margaret Kobia have also been summoned to appear before the Opiyo Wandayi-led committee. When the National Youth Service was established in 1973, the aim was to equip the youth with life coping skills to foster their personal and career development. However, in the recent years, the service has been dogged by a ghost of corruption that now threatens to undermine that particular objective. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
Well, thank you, Edward Kabasa, for that comprehensive report. Of course, that's a developing story, and we'll continue getting the latest right here on Channel 1. But reports reaching us indicate that 8 people have perished in a road accident along the Bungoma-Webuye Road. The accident involved a matatu and a tractor ferrying sugarcane. The reports do also indicate that the accident happened at a place called Misharage. So, well, this is some of the updates that we're getting right there, and of course, for a comprehensive detail on that, kindly do log on onto our website on www.kbc.co.ke, as well as on our Facebook pages and all other social media platforms to get the latest. And just to repeat that, is that reports reaching us indicate there has been an accident along the Bungoma-Webuye Road, and 8 people have perished in that accident that involved a matatu and a lorry, or rather tractor, ferrying sugarcane, and this was at a place called Misharage. Well, that's what we have on that story. For the rest, kindly do log on to our social media platforms. In the meantime, Deputy President William Ruto is warning that tough action will be taken against those found to have participated in corruption that saw Kenyans lose billions of shillings in the National Youth Service and National Cereals and Produce Board scandals. Ruto, who was in Kisii, called on the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to move fast and bring the suspects to book.
The simultaneous National Youth Service 9 billion shillings and the National and Cereals Produce Board 1.2 billion shillings scandals adds to the growing corruption statistics in the country. The mega scam drawing sharp reactions from Kenyans, even from the second in command, Deputy President William Ruto. Ruto, who was in Kisii County during the graduation ceremony of St. Paul's Teachers Training College, Nyabururu, called for arrest and prosecution of all those involved in the 2 scandals.
Wale wote ambao wamepatikana wamefuja pesa ya umma, NYS, NCPB huko kwa mahindi, mimi nataka niwaeleze kama serikali ya Kenya tutahakikisha ya kwamba hawa watu wote wanachukuliwa hatua za kisheria.
The Deputy President called on the Director of Public Prosecution and Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to move fast and nail the suspects.
And I want to ask all the investigation authorities and the prosecutors and the people in our courts, all these people, all of them should be brought to book, and nobody should be spared for whatever reason.
Ruto in particular took issue with how money meant for farmers in the Ministry of Agriculture ended up in the hands of brokers and businessmen.
The point is, the resources we have as government is for paying farmers. It is not paying for businessmen. It is not paying for traders or those other people who are doing other businesses.
Leaders present vowed to support Deputy President's quest for top leadership in 2022.
Even if we go parliamentary system, even if we go presidential system, nimesimama hapa kusema 2022 mtamuunga mkono.
Your Excellency, wewe ndio president 2022 mpaka 2032.
Tumejipanga na tuko nyuma ya His Excellency the Deputy President 2022 kwa sababu amedhihirisha ya kwamba yeye ni kiongozi
Ruto has in the meantime said that the government had set aside resources to boost infrastructure in Kisii County.
Na mimi nimefika hapa kuanzisha rasmi ujenzi wa barabara hii yenu. Mimi nilikuja Tabaka na Omingo Magara. Na mimi najua matatizo ya barabara hii.
He said a modern cancer center would be set up at the Kisii Hospital, a project that would be launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta in November. Samson Kitavi, Channel 1 News.
The government is now zeroing in on a number of individuals in connection with corruption scandals at National Cereals and Produce Board, National Youth Service and Kenya Pipeline. Government spokesperson Eric Kirethe said multi-agency team investigating the scams are working round the clock to apprehend the suspects.
Following revelation of massive looting of public funds at the National Cereals and Produce Board, National Youth Service and Kenya Pipeline, the government has now embarked on a hunt for individuals behind corruption cases in the three institutions. Government spokesman Eric Kirethe announced on Tuesday that several individuals have been identified in connection with the scams.
His Excellency the President promised and has severally reiterated that moving forward, no Kenyan will steal public money and escape with that crime.
According to Kirethe, a multi-agency team investigating the scams are working round the clock to apprehend the suspects, and that soon the heads will begin rolling.
We would want to inform the country that the key initial investigations have been completed and areas of further action with a potential for evidence for prosecution have been identified. The investigations have also identified several individuals who are suspected of culpability, and very as early as Monday next week we shall be able to give you the timelines for completion of investigations and commencement of prosecutions.
Kirethe cautioned against interference of investigations, saying the officers working on the cases are top-notch professionals who cannot be compromised.
To actualize this report, the relevant investigative agencies have changed tact and formed specialized multi-agency teams consisting of individual officers of integrity and expertise to ensure that every case is professionally investigated, the evidence compiled and presented in a court of law.
In the meantime, he called on the public to be patient and allow investigating officers to conclude their work. Kirethe added that the government is set to give a comprehensive report on the progress next Monday.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed the Ministries of Education and National Treasury to work with stakeholders to develop a master plan that would establish an optimal number of institutions across the country to effectively cater for persons with disabilities. As part of the plan, President Uhuru Kenyatta said the government would establish and equip 10 model education assessment and resource centers of excellence to facilitate early identification, assessment and placement or referrals of children with disabilities.
Speaking while launching the education sector policy for learners and trainees with disabilities, President Uhuru Kenyatta noted that inadequate qualified personnel, insufficient equipment, assistive devices and technologies have in the past hampered early identification, assessment and placement of children with disabilities.
Early identification, assessment and placement of children with disabilities have in the past been hampered by inadequate qualified personnel, insufficient equipment, assistive devices and technologies.
The president said for inclusive education to work in the country, the best interest and needs of learners and trainees must be taken into consideration during decision making and resource allocation.
This policy, which has been developed through extensive stakeholder consultations, will guide the provision of services to learners with special needs and disabilities in our country.
I am directing the Ministry of Education, working together with the National Treasury and other stakeholders, to develop a Marshall Plan to establish the optimal number of institutions we need in the country so as to effectively cater for persons with disabilities.
The head of state emphasized that the new policy must be implemented quickly and effectively to provide education to children and young people with disabilities to enable them participate in building the nation.
So as part of the Marshall Plan that I've just alluded to, my administration will establish and equip 10 model education assessment resource centers of excellence in the provision of early identification, assessment, placement, as well as referrals.
The president said education is the greatest equalizer as it helps to level the playing field and open opportunities for all, irrespective of their social or economic background. He lauded the new policy for recognizing the challenges faced by people with disabilities and providing approaches that cater for diversity of needs of the group. He said in the current financial year, the government has disbursed 52 billion shillings under the free day secondary education capitation, 13.4 billion shillings being for free primary education capitation grants, 3 billion shillings for national examinations, and a further 1.8 billion shillings for infrastructural improvement in schools. Also disbursed during the same period is 1.4 billion shillings to support special needs education.
Well, that story now brings us to a very fast break. But of course, just to remind you, some of the reports reaching us right now indicate that 8 people have perished in a road accident along Bungoma-Webuye Road. And the accident involved a matatu and a tractor ferrying sugarcane. And of course, I can see some of the details that we're having probably from some people around the area. We have one here from Henry Satai, right in Kitale, saying indeed the accident was at Musharage. Thank you so much, Henry Satai, right from Kitale, for that update. Thank you so much. And well, you can get the details right on our social media platforms. We take a very short break, but remember tonight, being a Friday, that means we have our weekly entertainment segment. This is Stargate, and I told you tonight we're having the Kasangas. At least Japheth will be in, and I had told you that probably you could suggest the kind of music or one song that you'd like him to play. And so far, Japheth, but let's take a break first.
The Easy Banking app is your bank anywhere, anytime. Everything you do at the bank is on Easy Banking app. You can use the app to send money, pay bills, buy and pay for goods and services, access easy loans, check the status of your account, save for future goals, and so much more. And now you can enjoy an even better banking experience with the just updated Easy Banking app. Loaded with a great suite of powerful features so you're always in control of your banking lifestyle wherever you are. Download the Easy Banking app from Google Play Store or App Store and link your Equity Bank account. If you do not have an Equity Bank account, open one hapo from the app. Easy banking. Experience convenience in life.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Na mega dola. Unaweza piga shift? Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega. Waweza pika ugali? Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Na mega. Labda waweza fua nguo? Ni mega. Na mega dola. Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play, and win with Mega Dollar. Big game for big winners.
Welcome back and thank you so much for your company this far. This is Channel 1 Weekend, the Friday edition. The sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. I am Rose Gaku. Let's proceed. The Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development has issued an advisory to motorists plying the Nanyuki Marua Road in Laikipia County that one lane has been closed amid fears of a landslide following a cracked section. These as two public schools of Ngambo Primary in Baringo South were rescued from drowning following floods in the area.
It will be another night in the cold for families affected by the ongoing rains. From Baringo to Muranga, Migori to Masinga, the heavy downpour has left a trail of destruction, with desperate Kenyans now looking to both the county and national government for solutions.
Hii kisanga kilikuja kikachukua ile shamba ya kwanza, ile ya jirani yetu ya wa chini. Sasa kimekuja kimepanda, kimechukua hata kahawa yangu yote, hata shamba hii yangu yote imeenda. Hata manyumba huko hatuna kikao sababu maklaki yamejaa huko na hata yanaenda yakipanda huko juu. Na sasa serikali imeamurisha tuhame twende huko juu. Na huko juu tunakaa kwa majirani, hatuna makao.
In Baringo County, it was a huge relief for the community around Ngambo Primary School after villagers rescued 2 Standard 5 pupils from drowning in the raging floods. The school risks closure as some of the classrooms have been submerged.
The entire Ngambo location has been affected. Part of Salabani location has been affected. Part of Elngarwa location has been affected. Part of Ijam's location has been affected. It is more than a disaster.
Additionally, at least 6,000 members of the Ilchamos community are said to be displaced by the floods. In Migori, parents and teachers of Nyambomo Primary School in Muhuru Bay, Migori County, have expressed concern over the dilapidated structures in the institution, which boasts a population of 500 pupils. Elsewhere, 5 homesteads in Kaga Village, Kiharu constituency, Muranga County, have been swept away by mudslide as heavy rains continue to pound the region. In the neighboring Kayu village in Kangema constituency, residents are living in fear after a small crack that developed a week ago began widening. Miles away in Laikipia County, raging floods have caused a crack in a 200-meter stretch of the Nanyuki Marua Road heading to Nanyuki Town, leading to the closure of one lane. The Kenya National Highway Authority is on the ground assessing the situation, even as motorists are urged to be cautious. Meanwhile, a general reduction in rainfall in catchment areas has resulted in water levels at the Masinga Dam marginally receding. According to the Kenya Electricity Generating Company, KENGEN, the water level is now at 1,057.72 meters above sea level, down from 1,057.75 recorded yesterday. The marginal decline of the water levels at Kenya's largest hydro water generating dam is attributed to a fringe regression in the amount of water flowing into the dam, which currently stands stands at 405 cubic meters per second as of 6 a.m. this morning. The amount of water flowing out of the dam currently stands at 514.6 cubic meters per second, a slight reduction from yesterday's 528 cubic meters per second. Caroline Kamar reporting for Channel 1 Niza.
Kenya Film Classification Board Chief Executive Ezekiel Mutua has denied claims that he was a stumbling block to the growth of film industry in the country. Mutua says his directive that filmmaker acquires licenses before shooting any movies would serve to foster more integrity in the film industry. Mutua, however, sought to set the record straight that the board had no intention to have personal filmmakers for social media purposes licensed as alleged.
Everyone. How are you? Nelly. Marcos.
A public notice requiring anyone intending to film anything within borders acquire a license from the KFCB has started public outcry, with the board's CEO Ezekiel Mutua on the receiving end. But Mutua now wants to state his position.
We are very clear that we will not encourage films that corrupt the moral values of our children, that distort the institution of the family as described in our constitution. We are not apologetic.
Mutua observed that some locals and foreigners were engaging in unethical films that injure the country's culture and moral values, necessitating an intervention.
We are also aware that there are foreigners who are making pornographic films in this country. There are foreigners who are only supporting LGBT content, and those ones are not happy with us. They will not even be happy as we go forward. We'll make them more annoyed.
Mutua has distanced himself from claims that the board required a license for private shoots.
We do not license vloggers or people who are uploading on YouTube. That's the position of the board, and we do not even have the legislative framework or the legal framework to do that.
Yes, sir. But the Kenya Film Commission is accusing KFCB of posing a potential danger to the growth of film industry in the country in its endless regulations.
It has made my work and KFC's work very hard. We've just come back from Cannes, and as you can imagine, there I am trying to woo international filmmakers to come and spend millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in Kenya, and the first question they ask me is the licensing situation in Kenya.
KFC says the sector has a huge potential of generating wealth and employment, which must be guarded at all costs. But Mutua says he will not back down, warning of a crackdown on filmmakers who will not have adhered to the regulation.
I'd already started doing drugs. By the time I was 10, I didn't have any self-worth, or, I didn't have a childhood. That's what I was raised around.
Devon Franklin is a highly successful producer in Los Angeles. He's also a New York Times best-selling author. In his latest book, The Hollywood Commandments, Devon reveals secrets from over 20 years in the entertainment business and offers tips on how to be wildly successful in whatever God has called you to do.
This is America. Don't get you slipping now.
What up, man? And it's so empty without you, na pia Glenn.
By the way, you unafanya gogo?
Nijaribu ni pesa, Shiro aliniambia ukikopa urudishani.
Kama wasikopi.
Sasa unataka tusaidiane aje?
Si unisambaze credo ambao.
Namba. Mwas. Silikuishia home.
Ndio utafute manamba za wanaume hapa.
Ati wewe ndio umekuwa supermodel huku, si ndio?
Kwa nini nimefanya?
Wasema pombe ni dawa yao
ya kutuliza mawazo yao. Kusema kweli ndugu, pombe si dawa. Dawa pekee ni Bwana Yesu.
Ya Yesu itakasayo wewe.
Oga kwa damu ya Bwana Yesu. Jaribu Yesu.
Jaribu Yesu wewe.
Yesu Mwokozi afurahisha. Jaribu Yesu. Mwambie Yesu ana uwezo. Yesu ni dawa pekee.
Well, there you are, and talk about gospel music legends, and well, you have to talk about the Kasangas from way back in the day. Of course, this is pretty much the days around the 1990s and the like. And incidentally, we still listen to their music, and I mean, it's gospel all the way up to now. Well, in studio we have Japheth Kasanga. Welcome.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you, Rose.
Happy to have you here.
I'm happy to. Yes.
Let's just go straight into it. So talented from way back in the day. How have you managed to maintain this kind of, energy?
Well, being a talent in me, you never get tired. You never wear out when you are doing what you like to do. So it's been a long journey from 80s, 90s, doing the same thing, music, mentoring people, producing music, promoting artists. I enjoy the work very much. Yes.
All right. And of course, let's go back to how did you begin your music journey in the gospel industry?
Actually, I should begin by appreciating KBC because in mid-80s, Juan Karanja Kimwere, together with David Ndiwa, who was a presenter of Joy Bringers, discovered me at Daystar University, where I was studying and teaching music at the same time. They believed in my talent. They would bring me here every Sunday to do gospel music, Sing and Shine and Joy Bringers those days. And I was the master musician, the person managing and coaching all the musicians before they came into the program. And that enthused me into wanting to stay in the music and to produce the music and to be in the music throughout. Yes.
Of course, you're speaking about Joy Bringers, which is like really way back in the day. Even I remember a little bit of it.
Yes.
And tell me, how different is music performance from back in the day and currently?
Well, those days we measured on content. When you want to do a music, you want to go to studio, you would think of the message that you want to, to tell people. And then think about the clarity of your message. Of course, when recording, the words were considered more important than the background music, and which is different today. Young people would want to enjoy the beats more than the music they're sending out there. And well, I say it is their days, so I'm okay. I also listen to it. Being in the copyright administration and also mentoring them, I have to love them. But still, when it comes to advising them, I tell them that they have to consider, what they are telling people, and also consider whether their life also, reflects the messages that they're telling to people.
Well, of course, you also meant, and of course we're going to get to that.
Sure.
But probably, what is your one message every time you are mentoring the young, you know, especially to be brilliant in this industry?
Well, I tell them that music can even shape the country, even the vision of the country, because music is easily listened, not like someone talking, because it has a lot of combination. There's beats, there is melody, there's all that, and people in listening to that, all that combination together, they're able to capture the message. So I tell them to be careful in whatever they're sending out there, because sending a wrong message, you know, it also helps into corrupting people's minds.
Well, of course.
Yes.
And of course, I mean, you're talking about that, and I understand you have coined a term for what you call, is it gospel ministry?
Music, gospel ministry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, music ministry. Yes.
Talk about it.
Well, talking about music ministry, we are talking about the person himself. You know, what you are living, you know, vis-a-vis what you're singing. So your life has got to reflect what you're singing, and therefore, because you sing from the Bible, which is supposed to help people, you know, live their lives that are not straight, into, you know, being people that are not corrupt, being people that are not sinners. So you are supposed to also live the same life, so that the people will be able to emulate your life.
Right. And of course, you are an authority in the copyright industry in the country. And of course, we're having so many concerns, especially from filmmakers and those who are talented, you know, who have the gift in acting, singing, and the like. What is your take on all this?
Well, my take is that, yes, true, there is a lot that is happening, whether acting, whether singing, and we also have digital platform, many things that are coming under the digital platform. And it is easy to, even music is, and the film, is people can pirate it more easier than before. And therefore, these days we are fighting with a lot of spread of the same, because the control is not clear. We are saying that digital is going faster than the enactment of the law. And therefore we have a lot that is happening outside the law, because the law currently is not catering part of the thing. So it becomes very hard to control. And therefore people must be careful in what they are taking, especially the public, because there is that which is not censored and it reaches everybody before even it has been
it has met the legal measures.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I wanted to talk about the Kasangas, you know. It's a household name from, I mean, we're talking about 3 decades now.
Sure.
I mean, it's really difficult, even for a band, to survive that long. And the Kasangas is actually you and Ann Kasanga.
Yes.
So how did that work out as a couple?
Yeah, it's been, you know, a long journey. My background is a choir master, and in the course of coaching choirs around Nairobi, Mombasa, all over, I was able to land into one choir in Tudor, Mombasa, where my wife was also a singer. And of course, I had a chance of relating with her and, you know, deciding and proposing that she would be my wife, which happened later. But before then, I was doing the choir music, you know, coming here at KBC with my box guitar, sing along. But in early 90s, actually in 80s is when we got married. And then we began the group Kasangas, Ann and Japheth Kasanga. And because we are family people and we are Christians, people that are rooted in church, we were able now to be firm and decide on what we want to do for the Lord, for our God. Her being gifted and myself, that combination helped us to last the long we have lasted, and also to be examples. And we became like fathers, people, young musicians looking at us and coming to us for advice. It was hard to penetrate as singles, gospel artists those days, because out of the choir, if you came out single singing, people would say you are showing off, and therefore churches were not ready to invite you. It was very hard for us to really make it through, but God helped us to stand to stand out as the gospel musicians of the time.
So for your case, it was more of a gift to each other.
It was. It was.
All right.
It complemented each other.
That's really great. And
Yes.
of course, Anne was not able to join us today.
Sure, she wasn't because of some reasons. So she released me to come along. But she's
All right.
watching.
She's watching. No,
Yes.
at that point, then you can shout out. To use, the youth language, you can send her shout out.
Yes, my wife Anne and even the children that are there, they're big now.
Oh yeah?
Hi, I hope you are doing well, and thank you for loving me. I'm happy for you too. May God bless you.
Well, amazing. Talking about you children, it's been captured somewhere that you have always wished that one of the children would take up. Has this happened?
It has happened, and we thank God. One of actually our firstborn, became a single singer, solo singer this year. Lynn Kasanga is now having some new releases. Busy shooting videos. Maybe she'll be here in time to come. So she's a gospel singer right now, and a manager in my family business, which involves music. Yes.
I see. And I understand you're blessed with 4 children. Are all of them somewhat in the line of entertainment, or in the?
They are. The second born, Jason, is a DJ. He calls himself DJ Loki, and he's also a live sound engineer. So he's in the church and doing music. And then we have third born, who must be roaming around here. He does some work here at KBC. He calls himself DJ Africana. He works here, so that one is a DJ, and he's doing a lot of music compilation all over. The last born is also a son, who is identifying his gifts currently, but he's above 20.
Above 20.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And right there appears your family is quite gifted in, in terms of performance, entertainment, and the like.
They are. They are.
And of course, you being a father figure right there at home to the 4 children,
Sure.
is this how now you gain the momentum to nurture even more artists in the country?
Yeah, it enthuses me. It gives me like a fuel to want to go, and because now I'm complete. When all of them have accepted my gift and they are doing what I like to do, I'm happy, and it gives me a new energy to continue mentoring more people, which I do every day. And being also in the copyright administration, I am there to see what is beneficial for the musicians. We collect money and distribute money to musicians as collective management organizations. I'm the chairman of Kenya Association of Music Producers Camp, and we are busy trying to see what we can make out for the musicians.
Well, that's really amazing.
Yes.
And let me tell you, there's only one thing I cannot let you go unless you have sung. I mean, I told people to send what they want, and I can see here Mochie Yesu. You probably would need to perform that.
Oh, Mwambie Yesu is a song that has just been played right now, which we sing with my wife. But I can sing a line.
Go right ahead.
Wasema kifo ni bora dada, eti rafiki ameku mwambi ye Yesu ana uwezo, Yesu ni dawa peke.
You can remix right there with something else. You can do another one.
Niacheni niende nikahubiri injili, niacheni niende nikahubiri injili, niache mimi nikahubiri, niende wapi? Niacheni niende nikahubiri injili.
Well,
Yeah.
amazing. I really feel like I'm in church right here. And
Yeah.
of course, we do appreciate you. We appreciate the Kasangas. And thank you so much for creating time to join us here in studio.
Thanks a lot.
In the interest of time, we're actually going to leave a couple of your songs playing.
Exactly.
Even as we make way for Caroline Jenga, who is already in studio to brief us on the day's happenings in the business world.
Thanks, and may God bless you.
Bless
too.
us all too.
Thank
All right.
Kihesabu baraka zetu Kenya, Mungu kweli ameturehemia, ametupa baraka ya uhuru. Tupendane na tusaidiane wote.
Asante Mungu Baba wetu, asante Mungu Baba wetu, umetupa baraka chungu nzima, umetupa baraka chungu nzima. Sifiwe, usifiwe. Kumpendeza Mwenyezi Mungu Kenya, matajiri wapeni masikini, ubinafsi, ukabila na chuki na kupigana, hacheni ndugu zetu. Asante Mungu Baba, asante Mungu Baba, umetupa baraka chungu nzima, umetupa baraka chungu nzima. Usifiwe, usifiwe. Tumrudie Mwenyezi Mungu jamaa, na tukiri makosa yetu Kenya. Tuungane tulinde jamhuri kutoka
We now take a look at the latest in business. My name is Carol Jenga. Kenya is seeking to increase cotton production from the current 25,000 to 300,000 bales of lint through aggressive recruitment of farmers and provision quality seeds and subsidized fertilizer. Industrialization and Enterprise Development Adan Mohammed speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of a 90 million million shillings Pavi Cooperative Cotton Ginnery and Business Park in Kwale County, said investment in the cotton value chain would revive the ailing industry.
The cotton industry is now a shadow of its former self, producing only 25,000 bales of lint annually, leading to importation of more than 80% of the local demand. This has been as a result of high cost of input, challenges in accessing certified seeds, poor returns and old farming techniques.
Na hizi ni vitu ambavyo nina hakika kwa sababu ya kuwa sasa mashine zimeletwa karibu, mitambo ya kuweza kusaga pamba. Hiki ni kitu ambacho tunaiomba serikali ijaribu kutilia maanani sana, sisi wakulima wadogo tuweze kupata mkopo, manake unalima pamba, unalima mtama na upati chochote kwanza. Sasa kama tutaangaliwa na mambo ya mikopo itakuwa kitu cha maana sana.
Kwale County is now among regions that have been identified as harboring huge potential for cotton farming and is one of the areas being tested for new cotton seed variety as government seeks to recruit 600,000 farmers across the country.
We want to graduate to hybrid seeds, which probably gives you about 1.5 to 2 times probably. Then there is the BT seeds, the BT cotton, that gives you at least between 3 to 5 times yield that we are going to. We are testing the BT cotton seeds. The plantation of that testing program is going on. And if that is successful, and with the regulations that is being considered at the moment in the cabinet, we will be able to make a significant transformation in the cotton sector in this country.
Pavi Cooperative Society will oversee commercialization of the cotton value chain through production, processing and marketing, targeting smallholder farmers in Kwale County.
Soko itakuwa iko hapa. Hakuna tena kutangatanga ati kwenda kule wote Makueni na sehemu nyingine. Mkilima pamba itakuwa inanunuliwa hapa, inasagwa hapa, value addition inafanyika na mambo mengine muhimu ya kuhakikisha uchumi unaendelea mzuri pia yatakuwa yanafanyika katika sehemu hii.
Kama nilikuwa nikisikia mbali, sasa iko karibu na naweza kuuza na nipeleke sokoni ikiwa soko pia iko karibu. Kwa hivyo nashukuru sana kupata mtambo wa karibu na kuikuza na kuipeleka mtamboni.
Upon completion in a year's time, the factory with a capacity of 1.8 tons daily will process cotton from the counties of Kwale, Tana River, Lamu, Kilifi and Taita Taveta County.
We are modernizing the equipment for Rivertex to the tune of more than 3 billion Kenya shillings to modernize it so that it can process cotton that we buy from farmers.
For News Hour Business in Kwale County, I'm Ronald Owili.
The Cooperative Bank of Kenya is banking on the positive economic outlook and a modification or removal of the interest capping law this year, as well as cost-cutting measures and efficiencies to grow its business. Managing Director Gideon Muriuki says, told shareholders that despite its South Sudan subsidiary making a 32.4 million shillings profit during the first 3 months of this year, political upheavals has been the bank's restructure its business in that country.
The operating environment for banks is picking up following a slow business environment last year, owing to the heated political temperatures that led to a condensed economic growth of 4.9%. However, the upturn in fortunes this year brought about by the relative peace and little politicking has brought about a conducive operating environment for banks. This, in addition to cost-cutting mechanisms and the proposed modification or removal of the interest rate cap, are projected to help grow cooperative banks' profitability this year.
Operating efficiencies, and will continue on enhancing the customer experience. Most of the things that we are doing 2018 is now a continuation of the things that we had set ourselves in 2017. In terms of giving the customer that good experience, we thank God that the economy is starting to pick up. I want to believe, Mr. Chairman, when the interest rate caps are removed by the government, and we pray that the government and our honorable members of parliament are able to deal with the issues of interest rate caps. I think we will create an environment for SMEs to be able to go to banks and be able to get the needed credit that they need because they are the engine of this economy.
The bank's South Sudan subsidiary returned to profitability, posting the 2.4 million shillings in pre-tax profit during the first 3 months of this year, compared to a loss of that 4.7 million shillings a year ago. Though political turmoil means that the bank has had to restructure its business.
But can I say for sure how it will be next month? No, to be honest, no. Because we have had instances in 2016 when we had to evacuate our staff. Remember, we had to learn all over and look for a plane, and our human resources, we had to look for a private charter to land to South Sudan and bring our Sudan children that were there.
Shareholders approved a dividend payout of 8 cents per ordinary share, with Muriuki saying the bank is looking to grow its capital base through profit retention margins of over 70%.
The board of directors, as noted by the chairman, has proposed for your approval a dividend payment of 80 cents per share. And this again is in line with the bank's policy of progressively capitalizing the bank through profit retention. Let me explain that. Dear shareholders, from 2008, when we listed the bank's shares, we've been able to grow our capital base to over 70 billion by just profit retention. And that's why the board has had that strategy of saying, let's not be over generous on dividends, but let's pay out about 30% of our profits, retain 70%, so that we are able to generate a good base for bank growth.
The bank has embraced the IFRS 9 reporting standards that had been projected to lower profitability for local banks. Nicholas Nduati, News Hour Business.
Well, that's all we could have bring to you. Sports Update now is up next with Richard Munga. Have a good night and have a great weekend as well.